Welcome back to So This is Thailand, and we're here on Expert Advice with a guest who has been on the show before. Now we have some fresh questions, so we're very happy to welcome back Dr. Nantarika Jansu, Associate Professor of the Faculty of Veterinary Science of Chulalongkorn University. She's also here speaking on behalf of VPAT, or the Veterinary Practitioner Association of Thailand. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for
So good to
me.
see you again.
Back again. Well, we had so many questions from last time that we didn't actually get to address.
I'm more than welcome to answer any question that would be useful.
Right. So it has been raining a lot, and as we know from last year's flood experiences, sometimes in the flood, pets get left behind. So the first question, I guess, is most importantly, how do we take care of the pets in the event that there is a flood?
Actually, when you talk about preparing for the flood, the most important thing is that be ready. Be ready. So no matter whether the water would come or not come, you have to be prepared, plan well. You know, like having a bag or a set of moving, ready to move set for your pet. That is the most important thing. And I think now that we have experienced that pet is a part of our family. It's like your kid. So when you have a small baby and you need to think, you know, if it floods, what we're going to do. And that's exactly what you have to do with your pet. Right. So I would say that first of all, you think about number one, are you taking your pet with you? Well, you know, if there's flood. Secondly, if you're not taking your pet with you, who is going to take care of him or her? There's several choices that you can make. You know, your friends, your relatives, or your vet, or the hospital, or pet hotel. So many places that you can decide. Or if you really want to try, like, okay, let's take them first, and maybe if we can't handle it, then we send it to other places. All these things needs to be planned before the water comes, because once the water is like in front of your house, you're not thinking anymore. You're like, let's go, right?
Kind of in a hurry, kind of in a panic.
Right.
Actually, during the flood relief rescue efforts last year, one of the most items in demand was pet food, because people didn't think about it.
Right. It's very easy. Just think about if you have a baby. There are two things that's most important. Is that first, a place to live. Secondly, the food to eat. Okay, so I think if you're talking about dogs and cats, it's a little bit convenient, because these days in Bangkok, we can send our pets to the hospital or the pet hotel. But if there are other animals that you are dealing with that people may not be willing to take them, like snakes or or even gibbons. Some people have gibbons or other exotic animals. Then you really have to think who's going to take care of your animals.
Well, that's what I was just thinking of. You're mentioning that when we think of pets, we usually think of the traditional ones: cats, dogs, maybe even some fish.
Right.
Even though maybe a fish during a flood is not so bad off. But look not only the various species, but the different sizes of them. I mean, obviously, there are small dogs, there are very large dogs.
Right.
But when you're talking about the more exotic animals, the snakes, the reptiles, I mean, I'm sure you've come across some very exotic types of animals that people really shouldn't have as pets in the beginning.
Right.
How do you transport ones that obviously they're not really domesticated?
The best way is to think about safety. Okay, safety is that means if you cannot handle the animal yourself, please call someone who can help you. 1362. That's for the Department of Natural Resources, and they are willing to help you with transporting the wild animals. But I think you might need to show them the legal paper. That would be helpful.
Yes.
That might be a problem for some people too. 1362, okay, a very useful number for starters.
Now, you just mentioned a pet hotel, and I know, at least in the West, in the United States, there's plenty of veterinarians where you can go there, you can leave your animals for an extended duration. But I know one of the biggest issues there is because you have so many animals in such a confined space, there's a lot of, just like in a hospital you find with humans,
right.
It's easy to pass along a cough or a cold or whatever is an ailment particular to an animal. So if you know you're going to go to a pet hospital, how can you prepare or to make sure that they're not sick once they get there?
Right. first thing is that no matter if it's flood or not flood, you must have your pet immune to most of the diseases that is recommended. For example, rabies or distemper for dogs and cats, and there are many like the cold for cats, you know, the panleukopenia, so many diseases are that you need to vaccinate and get the immunity ready. So if there's flood and you think you're going to move these animals to other places that is what you call at risk of getting other diseases, you might want to give him some vitamins or some kind of like health booster to make him a little bit healthy. But most importantly, you must go look at the place first to see whether the sanitation, the ventilation is okay at the place the animal is staying in. And you have to talk to the people there. Say, how many times you walk the dog? Is there any walk at all? And see how clean the place is, or if it's like really smelly with all these, you know, dogs, anything laying around like that. You must choose the place well, and the price is another story.
I'm sure there's prices just like you as hospitals for humans. It can probably vary.
Yeah.
Right.
Are there any kind of flood-related diseases that comes with the flood waters that is, you know, particular to flooding that you should be aware of?
Yes, mostly the respiratory system. That is probably most common because your animals might be contacted with water, and some dogs really like to swim, you know, and it comes up with all these wet feet and maybe some fungal infection and many things. But most important thing is that if the immunity of the animal is high, even though he is contacted with some of the pathogen or some diseases, he's okay. So.
I see.
I know, looking at the pictures from last year that we had, you saw, you know, everywhere that was flooded, you always saw dogs and animals up on the roofs of the houses, kind of abandoned.
Right.
Now I know, you know, the soy dogs that we have, especially here in Bangkok, we got a lot of stray animals. Is there any risks that we have to watch out during, as you mentioned, during the flooding? Because since they are kind of all going for dry ground,
Right.
Do we have to be careful, more careful during that time with stray animals?
I think the stray animals are also trying to save their lives. So actually I've been rescuing them too because they need a dry place to stay. Now we are trying to get the raft to put these animals on, and a lot of people put them on like unfinished buildings and then just add food on there and things like that. So I think we do not have to worry about them so much because they're seeking for survival also. But we have to be careful. I mean, if everybody is taking care of your own animals well, we will have no stray animals.
Very true.
Now, there must be a network to kind of do this animal rescue and things like that. If there's people who are interested in helping, is there a way to do that?
Yes, of course. We have many organizations like the Veterinary Practitioner Association of Thailand and also Chulalongkorn University and every universities that have the Faculty of Veterinary Science. We are conducting this rescue centers and rescue mission together with the Department of Livestock and the Department of Natural Resources. I think everybody is trying to help, but as for veterinary advisors, I think you can just contact the any vet association. Yes.
People who have been watching the show might have noticed some of the more exotic and we might say dangerous animals claim to be spotted on the loose. You know, you might have crocodiles, or they might have a green mamba, you know, the poisonous snakes. Are those really a concern during the flooding season, or are they really people's pets that have just been released?
I think mostly are the captive animals that has been released. But the concern is that if you have like poisonous animals or animals that could be harmful to people, please make sure before the flood comes that you have a proper container or proper cages or a leash or whatever that will keep them in there, not going out. The problem with the crocodile was that we didn't think about the cover. So when the flood comes, you know, even though the wall's still there, but the crocodile can climb. Sometimes the crocodiles think of themselves as a lizard or something, you know, like jinchok, you know. so they can climb the wall very high. So people are not aware of that, you know. So That's why these animals can get out easily.
Right.
During the flood.
It's kind of scary.
A scary thought.
But you can tell whether it's a crocodile or just monitor lizard by looking at the way they swim. Okay, if you look at the crocodiles and when they swim, just the tip of the nose and the eyes that comes out of the water. But the monitor lizard, which looks like the baby crocodile, will put the whole head up. So you can see them. The way they swim is different.
Wow. Yeah, I tend to think monitor lizards are a lot less graceful than crocodiles.
Yes.
I try to avoid them both. If I see them in the water.
Me too.
We've talked a lot about the physical health. One thing that as a pet owner, we have an emotional attachment to our pets, and obviously they have their own mental health as well.
Right.
Is there anything beyond the vaccinations and the food that we can do to actually make the stress less for them?
Yes, you have to visit them as often as possible. That is very important. Some pets will not eat at all when they are away from the owner, and especially the primates, like the gibbons or monkeys. If they separate from the owner, they can die. They can just stop eating. Wow. And just sacrifice themselves because of this sadness. So, and even for dogs and cats and other animals, they really need the owner. And that is the reason why you have them at the first place, to be together. So I would say that the more frequent you can visit and show that I care, but I can't take you, that would be the best thing.
Right. So it's like thinking of another family member.
Right.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We always have so much to talk about, and I'm sure there's plenty more questions coming up from our audience as always.
Right. But I would like to add that if you're really afraid of the flood and you are worried about your animals, please seek expert advice at first, especially if you have some exotic animals or even dogs and cats, because a lot of times when people think, oh, flood's not gonna come, not my house, and then next thing you know is that you're grabbing everything except another life that's waiting for your help. That is your own pet.
Well, excellent advice from an expert as well. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And hope all the animals and the owners are safe from the flood.
Well, that is it for expert advice today. Do stay tuned though, because we have plenty more coming up on So This is Thailand.
So we are in Surat Thani now on the bridge over the Tapi River, and next to me is Kun Supit Thewayurang from Tourism Authority of Thailand, Region 5 Southern Area.
Good morning.
Good morning. When we talk about Surat Thani, people will know just only Koh Samui. So that's why we come to you.
Yes.
Yeah, so please tell us, this is the first stop, like a viewpoint.
Yes, this is the viewpoint of Surat Thani. We are on the Tapi Bridge. This is the main river of the Surat Thani, and local people, they use this river for daily life, even for cruising, fishing, and traveling. And you can overlooking to see a night market.
Yeah, and the pier.
The pier of a night boat, which departs from Surat Thani to Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, and Koh Tao.
And the other side, so I can see the island.
That's
What's
right.
the name of the island?
We call Lampu Island or Koh Lampu.
Why?
Because this island is covered with a lampu tree.
7 kilometers from town, so we are at the Monkey Training College. So why we have a Monkey Training College, in Surat Thani?
Because the villager in Surat Thani, they need the monkey to work at the garden, pick up the coconut. Here we have an original one to train them for work at the coconut garden.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we talk about this college, so this is actually the classroom.
That's right. Actually about 6 months, like a training period of them. But the 3 months they have to be in the class, out there, the class, like the classroom. And the 3 months then, they will continue to work at the nature classroom.
It's amazing that they can communicate to the monkey. Yeah, give the signal and ask monkey to climb up and then work for us.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
They use a rope to control the monkey,
Yeah.
how to pick up that one and how to go, how to use
Yeah.
their feet. The monkey is ability to climb up very fast and quickly, and after that, you know, when they go up, finish one tree, and then they can move directly to another tree, jump up. Yeah.